You're now watching Wayback Wednesday, sponsored by Flora's Glass and Mirror Company, servicing the area since 1977 with residential and commercial work.
Greetings, friends, and welcome to Wayback Wednesday. I'm your host, Randy Adcox. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and Merry Christmas to you all out there. It's been a crazy week, been a crazy year. Who am I kidding? But you know, we're almost at the end of it, almost at the end of the year anyway. And so I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas, and I hope next year, 2021, is a better year for all of us. Before we get into the pictures tonight, I just want to kind of put out a couple of things. You know, every week, I so appreciate your phone calls and your sharing your memories with us. And as I said last week and every week prior to that, to me, this show is all about you, the viewer, and your memories. And if sometimes these pictures that we share with you can bring back or jog a memory that perhaps you'd forgotten about, and you call in and share that with us, that makes it all worthwhile to me. So I enjoy that. I enjoy hearing from you throughout the week. Just about every week, either immediately after the show or a day or so afterwards anyway, I'll hear from one or more of you. I get visits, and I always appreciate the visits. It's always good to see people who come in to visit with me and share some memories. And we're going to go back and re-look at a couple pictures tonight that we looked at last week, primarily because I've gotten some more information about a couple of these pictures that I didn't have last week, or at least some information that I had forgotten about, at least in one case. So anyway, we'll get to those in just a minute. But I also wanted to, since we are right here on the cusp of Christmas Eve, I was thinking today about Christmas past, if you will, and all the, I'm in my 60s now, so I've seen quite a few Christmases come and go, and I know many of you have seen more than I have. But we've all got some memories of Christmas, either as a child or as a young adult, or, for many of us, most of us, in fact, I'm sure there are memories that span our entire lifetime. And so, I'd like to encourage you tonight to call in. The number is 407-1111 if you've never called us before. Call in and just share a Christmas memory with us. I jotted down a few here before the show came on tonight, and one of my earliest recollections of Christmas and a memory that I have a very fond recollection of is waking up early. Santa Claus would tell you that many times he had never even got a chance to get back up the chimney where I was crawling out of bed and going to see what was under the tree. So, and that's just, that was something that was very important to me. I was the oldest of three kids, and so I always made a point of being the first one up, and more often than not, I'd wake up the other two and say, hey, y'all need to come look, Santa Claus has come, and here's what we've got. And so we'd spend a couple hours going looking at the new stuff, and then we'd all go crawl back in our respective beds and sleep another couple hours and get up again and start all over again. So that was always a fun memory for me, and throughout the show, I'll be sharing some other memories with you too. And again, if you like to share memories you have from Christmas, either as a child or a young adult, or a recent memory, 407-1111 is the number. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, with that being said, I mentioned a moment ago that we're going to go back and revisit some pictures that we looked at last week. One of them was the Hadley's Diner. If you remember, this was a picture I had never seen before, had never heard of a Hadley's Diner. And so, as it turns out, my good friend now, Eric Dawson, did a little research for us and did some legwork, and he stopped by and visited with me this week and shared some information, and was able to track down the location of the Hadley's Diner. So just to refresh some memory, Lee, have you got that to a point where you can put it up on the screen yet? If not, whenever you do, just go ahead and throw it up there, and we'll be chatting about it until you get there. It is. This building is long gone, which is probably why I couldn't remember it, and Eric said he didn't remember it either, but he happened to run across someone who grew up in this area of Rocky Mount, and as it turns out, this was down on South Church Street. If you know down there where those silos are, on the very, very southern end of Church Street down there, and back in that day, in the early 1950s, it was referred to as 301 alternate. You'll see it advertised sometimes as 301-A, but it was in that southern part of Church Street down there, in that same general area where those, if you remember it's been a couple of months back now, we did a show and we showed you a location that had some silos, and I think E.B. Grain and Battleboro, I think, might have control of that property now. But anyway, it's if you remember where Little's Body Shop was, and past the stockyard and down that way, it's where this building was. It's since been torn down. I understand now it's just a wooded lot there. But this was Hadley's Diner. And I did a little bit of research myself today, prior to tonight's show anyway, and it looked like this restaurant was apparently only in operation for a very short period of time. In fact, I have several old Rocky Mount City directories, and the one that I did not have, ironically, was the one that this picture was actually identified by year as being 1953, and so I couldn't find a 1953 directory. I found a 1955, I found a 1950, and sadly there was no reference to Hadley's Diner in either one of those. So it looks like it must have been only in existence, at least as Hadley's Diner. Now, it could have been something else before and after it was Hadley's, but as far as being in business as Hadley's Diner, apparently it was only in business for a year or two in the early 1950s. So, okay, let's go to the next picture, Lee. We talked a little bit last week, too, about the Rio. If you remember the Rio, there you go, there's the Rio. And in a prior show, and this had been brought up some months ago when we were taking a cruise down Church Street, North Church Street, and got along there where the Elks Lodge currently is. And if you've been watching the show all along, you remember we talked about the Rio, and where the Elks Lodge is now was where the Rio was. Eric kind of jogged my memory and reminded me that the Rio actually burned, and so when where the Elks Lodge is now apparently was rebuilt on the same foundation as the original Rio restaurant. Now, while I was researching tonight's show, I actually went to looking, and lo and behold, Charlie Killebrew, and I'm going to do some more digging on this because I only found a reference to this and did not find the actual pictures themselves. But up at UNC, in their archives section up there, they've got a bunch of Charlie Killebrew's pictures. And there's a listing online of what's included in that library of pictures that Charlie Killebrew took. And in that collection is a group of pictures referred to as Rio Restaurant Fire 1959. So apparently the Rio restaurant itself burned in 1959. Now here's what's interesting. There was also additional photographs in this same Charlie Killebrew collection that referenced the Rio restaurant in 1960 and in 1961. So I'm not sure how badly the building burned, if it was completely destroyed. It may have been, but apparently it was. And it's also possible, I should back up and say this too, sometimes when these library collections get put up online or at least listed online, it's not terribly uncommon for there to be some errors. So the fact that this first fire collection, if you will, was identified as the Rio Restaurant Fire in 1959, I would take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. I'm going to try to find the newspaper clipping because I'm sure this made the newspaper whenever it burned. So I didn't get a chance to dig that far today, but I'm going to see if I can find the newspaper clipping. But in any case, it looks like somewhere around 1959, 1960, the Rio burned. And so sometime after that, and it's possible that it was rebuilt on the same foundation as the Rio steel, and then at some point after that, the Elks Lodge took the place over. And I understand now that the Elks Lodge, in fact, has either found somewhere else to move or is moving. I think the building is now empty, and someone else is going to take it, from what I understand. But I think there's one more picture, Lee. Just go ahead and go to that next picture up there, I believe. In fact, I think there you go. There's a picture of the interior of the Rio. We showed this last week too, just kind of refresh your memory. This is up on North Church Street there beside the old Atlantis restaurant. And by the way, Eric reminded me that the Atlantis restaurant was actually at one time, either a part of the Rio or like a side business, if you will. And then of course, I guess at some point the Rio shut down, and the Atlantic Seafood Restaurant took over that location and ran there for many years as Atlantic Seafood. So, but anyway, this was all, like I said, there's a lot of information out there on the web, and I just got to do some more digging because now I'm curious about exactly when the place burned. As I said, I'm sure there's an article in the Rocky Mountain Telegram about it with more detail. And if I can find, because what I found tonight was just a listing of the contents of this Charlie Killebrew collection. It wasn't the actual photographs themselves, though my understanding is those photographs are there. So I've got to figure out how to get access to the actual photographs themselves of the fire, and when I do, I'll share those with you on the air. Okay, so there's one more, Lee. I want just to share this, and this is from the here we go. This was an ad that appeared, and I believe this is 1960 or thereabout. But this was in the city directory, and there you see a businessman's luncheon, the dinner a la carte menu, steamed oyster bar. And I think that steamed oyster bar was the part that was actually later became the Atlanta Seafood. I think I'm right in that. They had live music there, of course, for lunch and dinner, and they had a dance band on Saturday night. So I don't remember the Rio. I can't say I ever went there. It was before my time, or at least before I was old enough to go in and do anything about it. But apparently at one time it was a happening little place, so we'll go there, leave that at that. All right, so I went back in my archives since we are so close to Christmas. And by the way, I've only got a handful of Christmas pictures to share with you tonight, and every one of these we've shown before in prior shows, but since it is Christmas, I felt like we need to just at least bring a few pictures out for Christmas. And then we're going to get back into some of these pictures that we didn't get to last week, and there was quite a few that we didn't get a chance to show you last week. That were in that collection from Wallace Abernathy. So we'll get to those shortly, but in the meantime, let's look at some pictures of the Rocky Mountain Christmas Parade from 1964. And Lee, if you'll go ahead and put that first one up here, this collection. There you go, this is a float. And again, we've shown these before. These are just pictures that I happen to have in my personal photo collection. And these are about 5 or 6 in this collection here that are all dated Christmas Parade 1964. So if you see anybody you recognize or see someone, or recognize yourself maybe, give us a call. 407-1111 is the number. And also, we're looking for your calls tonight to share a Christmas memory with us. So if you want to share anything about your childhood at Christmas or any time for that matter, give us a call, 407-1111. All right, Lee, let's go to the next one then. And again, these are all, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think it is, in this collection that are all from the 1964. And you'll notice these pictures the lights are on above the street there, so these pictures, this parade took place apparently later in the afternoon, just about dusk it looks like. This is probably the end of it here, obviously, but still you can see the lights were on, and it's getting a little dark almost. And so, of course, this time of the year it gets started fairly early anyway, so I'm guessing the parade may have started 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Probably took about an hour and a half to complete the course, and so by the time we got to the end of it and the old fat guy come right along, it was probably getting pretty close to dark anyway. All right, Lee, let's go to the next one then. And here you go. This is, again, the same parade. This is just a point along the parade route. I think this is down on Church Street, actually, not too far from First Baptist or First Methodist Church, one of the two. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's somewhere in that general area. Okay, so let's go ahead and lead to the next one then. There you go. Bunch of folks there on the steps of the church, obviously, standing alongside the road there in front of the church and on the steps of the church, admiring the floats as they come by there. These are all, again, 1964, the Rocky Mountain Christmas Parade. And, I don't know for sure. Well, my guess is this year's parade has been canceled, obviously. I did see a reference to the parade from last year, but my understanding is the parade has been canceled this year, so Rocky Mountain won't have one. Let's hope we can get one back on schedule for next year. Maybe this COVID mess will be going on then. Maybe we can get back to a parade. Okay, Lee, let's go to the next one then. I think there's a couple more in this grouping here. And there you go. It was obviously chilly. You see they got on mittens and scarves and coats, and but it's the time of year for it to be chilly. I'm not sure I don't recall seeing a date on these other than it was a 1964 Christmas parade. So I'm guessing it was probably late November, early December. That's usually about the time frame where these parades would take place. But obviously chilly. And again, it was probably later in the afternoon too. So sun was probably dropping low on the horizon by this time. Okay, Lee, let's go ahead into the next one. And there you go. And you can see there's looks like a reflection there where someone maybe took a photograph. And it's, I would guess, probably Charlie Killebrew. Could be Bugs Bunny too, for that matter. But when the camera flashed, and you can see the reflection there in the front of the float. That's kind of neat there. So that tells you right there it was getting kind of dark, kind of late in the afternoon when this picture was taken too. Okay, Lee, let's go to the next one then. And I think, okay. To me, this was a neat picture. This was actually from the 1950s here. This was not in the same collection of those last one I showed you. And I think there may be two of these, I'm not sure. But anyway, this was titled, or caption I should say, Tarver Street, Main Street, Christmas circa 1950s. And just looking by the cars there, I'm guessing it's somewhere early 50s, 52, 53, maybe somewhere along in there. I don't recall hearing a snow total. Maybe someone remembers this snow, but this is, and again, we don't know exactly what time, what date the parade itself took place, or let me back up. This is not a parade picture here, obviously. This is just a downtown Rocky Mount picture showing the Christmas decorations. So, but it was obviously in the Christmas season, so sometime in the early 1950s, Rocky Mount had a pretty substantial snow. Maybe somebody remembers that. If you do, give us a call. 407-1111 is the number. Okay, Lee, there's a few more. Let's go ahead and go through these. Oh, we got a call. Let's get this call. Hello there, you on the air?
All right, that picture you're looking at right there is a picture over there in Main Street in Tarver, North Carolina, with that tower over there on the left-hand side of the street. Looking east.
You're exactly right. I missed my own notes, but that's I got it captioned on my paper here as Tarboro Main Street Christmas. But you're exactly right. It's right. Main Street Tarboro. All right, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye. Yeah, sure is. And you know, the funny thing about that is I actually went online the night before the show, and I was going to try to find a picture of what this intersection. Go back, Lee, get one photograph. Let's get this call here first of all. Hello there, you're on the air. Hello, caller. Bob? Bob, you there? Okay, I think we might have lost a call there. But yeah, I went back. Eric's exactly right. This is obviously Main Street, Tarboro. But I went back tonight and tried to find what I thought would have been Main Street, Rocky Mount, and Tarver Street, and couldn't find anything that looked anywhere near like this. And I didn't look very hard, obviously. It would have dawned on me why I couldn't find the picture. But yes, this is Tarboro. This is Main Street and Tarboro, sometime in the 1950s. And I need to do a little better note taking, obviously. But anyway. Bob, we somehow lost your call there. The line is free. Feel free to call us back. Okay, so let's go ahead and lead to the next one then. And that next picture, I think, there you go. This was from the City Lake, and it was captioned as City Lake 1950. And you know, I was reading on Facebook tonight, someone had put a post up on Facebook that said, why is the City Lake not lit up? And I've not been by there at night recently to look, but apparently the island itself is not lit up and the lights around the lake are not lit up like they normally are. And I didn't realize that was the case until I saw it tonight on Facebook. So if anyone knows anything about that, let us know. But this was, you can see the power plant in the background there, the island off to the left there, and this was obviously at night. But the City Lake, and it was captioned 1950. Okay, Lee, let's go to the next picture then. There you go, and this picture was captioned Toy Factory 1952. And I'm really not sure where this was. Again, this is pictures that I had in my collection, and so it was captioned as being it was in a collection of Christmas photographs, obviously, but it was just identified as Toy Factory 1952. And I don't think, the last time we showed it, I don't think anyone else could remember where this was or anything about it either. So it was kind of an obscure picture here, and I'm not 100% positive. These are, in fact, from that Charlie Killebrew collection, I'm pretty sure. And so it's entirely possible this could be somewhere outside of Rocky Mount. It may not be Rocky Mount. Okay, Lee, let's go to the next one then. And this picture was actually identified as downtown Rocky Mount in 1961. And so those first ones were from 1964. They were the Christmas parade, and this was just a Christmas scene sometime around the Christmas season. I'm guessing late November, early December of 1961. And this would be looking north, I'm guessing, on Main Street. Anyway. Okay, I think there's one more, Lee, in this grouping, and this is some gentleman putting up some garland. There you go, and this was also from 1961. All right, Lee, bring it back to me. This is a good time to take our first commercial break for the night. Folks, when we come back, we're going to jump into these pictures. I mentioned at the top of the show, there were some pictures from last week's show we didn't get a chance to get to, and they're amongst some of those that Wallace Abernathy sent me. So there's some really neat pictures here, and I'm glad we got a chance to get to them tonight, and I hate we didn't do it last week. We're going to show you tonight. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes with more Wayback Wednesday.
You're now watching Wayback Wednesday, sponsored by Flora's Glass and Mirror Company, servicing the area since 1977 with residential and commercial work.
If finding money for Christmas presents this year has got you down, don't worry. We've got your back at Carolina Jewelry Pawn and Gun. Cash loans for Christmas are our specialty. If you need money, come see us. Find a gift for anyone on your list or something special for yourself. Just look at our display case for gold, silver, and diamond jewelry. Check out our electronics gun section and our collection of beautiful estate jewelry. We specialize in new and used guns. Carolina Jewelry Pawn and Gun, serving you for over 25 years. 443-1668, 2522 Sunset Avenue, Rocky Mount.
I'm Daniel Moss, owner of Cornerstone Funeral Home, and I'd like to invite you and your family to give our family an opportunity to serve you in your time of need. And we offer a full line of funeral services, everything from visitations to graveside services to cremations on site with a live crematory, as well as a banquet hall to meet the catering needs of our families that we serve. We offer catering service. We offer refreshments prior to visitations and services of our family, and we want to invite you to come and experience the difference here at Cornerstone Funeral Home.
When faced with special care needs for elderly or disabled loved ones, families want compassionate, comforting care. That's Tender Touch Home Care Services' goal, providing the level of care we would expect for our own. With over 10 years of home care excellence, Tender Touch provides an array of services that keeps your loved one at home. From personal care, light housekeeping, errands, and meal preparation, to our private duty care program, which combines all of our home care offerings in one package.
Tender Touch Home Care Services, where your needs are our concern.
We're in our 18th year of practice at the Hammer Chiropractic Center, and we've seen over 15,000 different people in the Rocky Mount area. 40% of headaches actually come from a neck problem. Many patients come in taking multiple aspirin, over-the-counter medications and such a day, and we can get you to stop doing that and actually fix the problem so the headaches don't rise anymore. A lot of people think chiropractic hurts. It does not. Most of the people come in and they feel great when they leave.
You're now watching Wayback Wednesday, sponsored by Flora's Glass and Mirror Company, servicing the area since 1977 with residential and commercial work.
And we're back. Folks, for just tuning in, you're watching Wayback Wednesday. I'm your host, Randy Adcox. 407-1111 is the number here at the station. Give us a call. We're talking about some old pictures from Rocky Mount, bygone days. And I mentioned at the top of the show, too, I wanted to kind of give you an opportunity tonight if you want to call in and share a Christmas memory with you. You know, I was telling my kids, well, my son anyway, my daughter moved out away from home. I was telling my son a few days ago, you know, one of my memories as a child, we didn't have stockings hanging by the fireplace when I was little. I guess a lot of folks did, but we didn't. And But I remember Christmas morning, we always got a shoebox. Each one of us, it was 3 of us, and each one of us got a shoebox there by our toys and everything. And but there'd be an apple and an orange and some mixed candies and so forth, and nuts. There would be. It was the only time of the year that we got walnuts and Brazil nuts. We didn't know what Brazil nuts were back then. We called them something else, and I don't want to offend anybody, so we'll just leave it at that. But anyway, that's the only time of year we got walnuts and Brazil nuts and hickory nuts, and sometimes macadamia nuts, those kind of things. But that was a treat for us. Like I said, we just didn't get that kind of stuff throughout the year, and never had a stocking for that stuff to be put in. It was a shoebox, and that was that was our equivalent of a stocking, I guess. Anyway, and you know, I was reading a post earlier tonight on Facebook. Someone had said that, I guess out in the Bunn Farm subdivision, which is out, if you're familiar, you're out Hunter Hill Road out west of Rocky Mount, and over there not too far from Northern Nash High School is where the Bunn Farm subdivision is. And a bunch of the residents out there are going to put out some luminaries, and that's something that used to be real commonplace at this time of the year, especially right around Christmas itself, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And I don't remember the last time I saw any luminaries out. And for those that don't know, the luminaries are little bags with a candle in them. They set them out and usually light a driveway or a walkway or a path or whatever. So supposedly tomorrow, Bunn Farm subdivision is going to have luminaries all through that subdivision. So if you're not doing anything, you're bored sitting around home, the weather may be kind of messy. I understand it's possible to rain, so hoping it holds off. But anyway, Bunn Farm subdivision will be doing luminaries tomorrow out there all through the subdivision, from what I understand. Okay, you know, I mentioned before the break that there was a bunch of pictures that I had for last week's show that we just didn't get a chance to get to. And so if you remember me saying I was graced with a really nice visit a couple of weeks ago from Mr. Wallace Abernathy, who brought me a disc with a ton of pictures on it from Rocky Mount, Nashville, Tarboro. And so anyway, over the last couple of weeks we've been showing some of those, and so I wanted to jump back on those tonight. And Lee, this very next picture coming up, if I remember correctly. Oh, and by the way, there you go. One of the neat things about what Wallace did with some of these pictures was he took a shot, and I don't know how he managed to get these pictures, but he, in many cases anyway, had the same, or generally the same shot of an area over a period of 5, 10, 15 years or more. So this particular picture here is the 100 block of Southeast Main Street in the 1950s. I'm not exactly sure what that white arrow up there is pointing to. It looks to be some kind of screen maybe, I'm not sure. But in any case, this is from the 1950s, and you see People's Bank there on your left of the screen, and Main Street down at the very bottom of the screen. So Lee, the next picture is the same general area in the 1960 time frame. And you can, we got a call. Let's get this call. Hello there, you on the air.
All right, that arrow is pointing to on top of that building just south of where the People's Bank building is. That was an advertising screen that had a projector that flashed advertisements up on that screen that you could see from the railroad tracks, the side of the building, the Main Street side, and the image was put out there with a camera a projector that was round on the back side of it.
Okay.
It didn't have any audio or anything with it. It just kind of was like a mural, like you would see changing on the side of a truck that would have now advertisement on it. And people could pay, I guess, a fee to put their advertisement up on that thing.
Okay.
That's what that arrow is pointing to.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, buddy. Appreciate that.
All right.
Okay. There you go. And I just got a text sent to me. It looks like they're going to, because of the forecasted inclement weather tomorrow, there's going to be a date change on the luminaries being put out at Bunn Farm. So I'm not exactly sure what date that is. And the message just says Bunn Farm date change. So anyway, hang tight on that. If I get more information, I'll share it with you. But again, probably because of the inclement weather that's forecast for tomorrow, they're going to hold off doing the luminaries at Bund Farm, and I'm guessing it could be another day or so later. But as soon as the weather gets permissible to do that, they'll put them out there. So, okay. All right. So, again, this is the same general area, 100 block of Southeast Main, and this is from 1960, October of 1960, actually, this picture was captioned. Okay, so now, Lee, this very next picture, here you go, and this is from 1965. Again, same general area, a little bit different angle, and okay, and I just got, before I go any further, I just got another message about the luminaries. So it will be on Christmas, the evening of Christmas Day, which will be Friday. So apparently they've moved it, instead of being Christmas Eve, it will be Christmas Day, but it will be, I'm guessing, probably starting at dusk or whatever time it gets dark on Friday. So luminaries at Bund Farm, Christmas Day night, and they'll probably go on well into the night. So if you get bored Christmas Day, hop in your car, ride out to Bund Farm. I'm sure it'll be a treat there. Okay, so again, this was the Southeast Maine, roughly Southeast Maine in 1965. This next picture, oh, we got a call. Hello there, you on the air? Hello, caller, you on the air?
Yeah, that picture right there, down there, is the one, that's one that's got the little man up in the booth controlling the crossings, isn't it?
I think it is, yes. I think that's exactly what he's doing up there. In a prior show, we talked about that. At one point, I'm not sure when they changed it, but at one point I understand the crossing arms that would come down were hydraulically operated, and so I'm not sure if the little guy in there had function control over that or not, or if there was something else he did, but it looks from this picture to be someone in that little tower. Yes, sure is.
Yeah. What year was that?
This was from 1965. At least that's the year it was captioned. Now, some of those cars look to be a little bit older, but the picture itself was captioned 1965, and that would be certainly possible that there would be some cars that were older than 1965 in the view. But
does anybody know when they took those things down?
You know, we talked about it in a prior show. I know we've got some railroad viewers who watch the show regularly. So I tell you what, let me let you go, and we'll see if we can get one of them to call in and share some information with us about those things. And I know there's some people who watch the show who keep up and remember when those were in use.
Okay, all right.
All right, we'll see you. Okay, yeah, so I do know we've got a couple of viewers who are ex-railroad guys or employees or remember this kind of stuff. So if you remember roughly or some idea about when they took down those towers, and I'm sure there's more to the story than what I was saying a while ago. I'm not even sure what I was saying was completely accurate, but I do remember on a prior show we talked about those little towers, and I think they had a couple of different uses actually. But anyway, 407-1111 is the number. Give us a call if you want to share any information about it. Okay, Lee, let's go to the next picture then. This next picture is actually the 100 block of Southwest Main Street, and you can see there there's Kenny's Shoes. Oh, gee, I'm drawing a blank at that picture. But anyway, this was obviously right across the street from the previous shots where we're looking at the 100 block of Southeast Main Street. This is the 100 block of Southwest Main Street, on the other side of railroad tracks, if you will. And this was actually from 1951. And so you can tell by the cars there. And Wallace did tell me too that most of the time when he dates these pictures, he does it by the cars. And so if there's a majority of the vehicles all appear to be roughly the same year model, then that's kind of how he goes about dating the pictures. So this one was actually captioned as 1951. And there was also a reference to Rosenblum here, so I'm guessing that place in the middle might be Rosenblum. I can't tell from this angle, but I think that's what that was. Okay, Lee, So the next picture is actually a little bit older. It goes back a little bit further. This is from the 1930s, and this is the 200 block of Southwest Main Street. So again, we're on the opposite side of the street of where we were a minute ago. This is on the side of the street where Planters Bank is, and but this is the 200 block, and you see Bullock Furniture. Now, I'm not sure. Maybe someone can clear this up for me. I'm curious if, and by the way, there's J.C. Penney too. I'm curious if this Bullock Furniture is the same Bullock Furniture company that always has the big lamp sale every year in the space that's now right beside the Central Cafe then on Church Street. So if anyone knows for sure, I'm guessing it is, but I don't know for sure. 407-1111 is the number. If you happen to know whether or not the Bullock Furniture that we're seeing right here in this image is the same family business that is currently operating over on Church Street beside Central Cafe there on across from the old Don Bullock Chevrolet building. Okay, so all right, this next picture, Lee, go ahead and bring the next one up if you would. And this was also captioned as being from the 1930s. And as you can see, same general view. Again, we're looking southwest on Main Street here. And this was actually just kind of a little bit further back view, looking across the railroad track. I think this was probably, we got a call. Let's get this call. Hello there, you on the air?
Flora Furniture Company was on the corner of, right across the street from Chris's on Main Street.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Right across the street from what is now Virginia's Dress Shop with Bullock Furniture Company.
Okay.
The back of that same store was Bullock Funeral Home.
Okay. Is that the same Bullock Furniture that's now on Church Street?
Are you with me?
I am. If you turn your TV down a little bit, you won't get that echo. That's where that echo is coming from.
All right. Let me turn the radio television down. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, now can you hear me?
There you go. There you much better, much better.
Okay, Bullock Furniture Company was right on the corner of Western Avenue, across from what was Cress's.
Okay.
It's now Virginia's Dress Shop.
Gotcha. Okay. Now the question is,
At the very back of that was also Bullock Funeral Home.
okay.
Out of the back of that furniture company.
Gotcha. Okay. Now was that the same Bullock Furniture as the one that's now on Church Street?
Yes, they moved that over to Church Street.
Okay. I thought it probably was, but I wasn't sure. Okay.
I think I'm correct that the funeral home part of it was sold to Sumlin Funeral Home, which was down on South Church Street, but I'm not 100% certain of that. But I do know that was Bullock Furniture Company, yes, and they did move over on Church Street.
Okay, good deal. All right, thank you. Have a good night. Okay. All right, yeah, I suspected it was the same Bullock Furniture Company. I just wasn't sure. So thank you, caller, for clearing that up for us. Okay, let's go to the next picture then. This next picture is actually from the 1940s. So again, same basic view. You're looking roughly southwest. This is the southwest side of Main Street, and this is from the 1940s. And so you can see at this point, the railroad track and the street level are at the same grade there. The brick wall on either side of the railroad track has not been built, not been put in place yet. And so, obviously, downtown Rocky Mount has changed quite a bit. And that, I believe that's, Lee, can you zoom in? I believe that's Bullock Furniture right there in about the middle way, just maybe a little to the right of the middle way of the picture. There's Cress's right there on the right-hand side, it looks like. So, yeah, the caller was right. That's Bullock Furniture there. And again, this is from the 1940s. And so we got a call. Let's get this call. Hello there, you on the air?
All right, and also in that picture right there is a good view of the fact that there were three tracks in downtown Rocky Mount, along right there where the main part of town is. There's three, I guess you would call them mainline tracks. I don't know where one of them would have been a track going up to the train station only, but there's clearly three different sets of railroad tracks right there in downtown Rocky Mount. That's not been the case for a long time.
You know, I don't ever remember it being the case. That's before my time for sure. I hadn't even thought about it, but you're exactly right. I saw before he zoomed in, I could see those three tracks.
All right.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good evening. Yeah, here you go. You can see now clearly there's Bullock Furniture there, and of course, across Western Avenue from Bullitt would be the Crescent store there. And so I see J.C. Penney is just down past Bullitt Furniture. Can't make out what's on the other side of J.C. Penney. But anyway, again, you look at the street level there, the railroad track. Can you tell what that is? It looks like Sergio, maybe? No. What does that say, Lee? Can you read that? Beside J.C. Penney is Bullitt Furniture, and then J.C. Penney, and then just beyond that, I can't make that out. It almost looks like, I don't know. Hard to tell for sure. Okay, let's zoom it back out again, because Eric brought up a good point there. That's something I was not aware there were ever 3 tracks in downtown Rocky Mount. But when you zoom all the way out on this picture, you can clearly see that they are indeed 3 sets of tracks. So we got a call. Hello there, you on the air?
That other sign you were speaking about is
Efrid's.
Department store.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. There you go. Okay. All right, Lee, zoom all the way back. There you go. And you can see here, as Eric said, there's 3 sets of tracks going right down Main Street, Rocky Mount. And that's something I'd never recalled. Did not know there was ever a time when it was 3 tracks. And you know, of all the old pictures that I've looked at, I don't ever recall noticing it before, but this picture here clearly shows 3 sets of tracks. So I have to do a little more digging in that too. Tell you what, Lee, bring it back to me. I almost blew past. I was taking a commercial break there. So we're going to grab another quick commercial break. When we come back, got some more pictures to show you of downtown Rocky Mount from the early 1920s, 30s, 40s, even 50s. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Wayback Wednesday.
You're now watching Wayback Wednesday, sponsored by Flora's Glass and Mirror Company, servicing the area since 1977 with residential and commercial work.
If finding money for Christmas presents this year has got you down, don't worry. We've got your back at Carolina Jewelry Pawn and Gun. Cash loans for Christmas are our specialty. If you need money, come see us. Find a gift for anyone on your list or something special for yourself. Just look at our display case for gold, silver, and diamond jewelry. Check out our electronics gun section and our collection of beautiful estate jewelry. We specialize in new and used guns. Carolina Jewelry Pawn and Gun, serving you for over 25 years. 443-1668, 2522 Sunset Avenue, Rocky Mount.
I'm Daniel Moss, owner of Cornerstone Funeral Home, and I'd like to invite you and your family to give our family an opportunity to serve you in your time of need. And we offer a full line of funeral services, everything from visitations to graveside services to cremations on site with a live crematory, as well as a banquet hall to meet the catering needs of our families that we serve. We offer catering service, we offer refreshments prior to visitations and services of our family, and we want to invite you to come and experience the difference here at Cornerstone Funeral Home.
When faced with special care needs for elderly or disabled loved ones, families want compassionate, comforting care. That's Tender Touch Home Care Services' goal, providing the level of care we would expect for our own. With over 10 years of home care excellence, Tender Touch provides an array of services that keeps your loved one at home. From personal care, light housekeeping, errands, and meal preparation, to our private duty care program, which combines all of our home care offerings in one package.
Tender Touch Home Care Services, where your needs are our concern.
We're in our 18th year of practice at the Hammer Chiropractic Center, and we've seen over 15,000 different people in the Rocky Mount area. 40% of headaches actually come from a neck problem. Many patients come in taking multiple aspirin, over-the-counter medications and such a day, and we can get you to stop doing that and actually fix the problem so the headaches don't rise anymore. A lot of people think chiropractic hurts. It does not. Most of the people come in and they feel great when they leave.
You're now watching Wayback Wednesday, sponsored by Flora's Glass and Mirror Company, servicing the area since 1977 with residential and commercial work.
And we're back. During the break, I had a call in and ask if anyone remembers when they took that third track up. There's speculation that perhaps when they redid downtown Rocky Mountain, the train tracks, and put the brick walls and so forth in, that may have been the time they brought that third track and removed it. I'm not sure, but if anyone has any information about that, let us know. 407-1111 is the number. And I got one more bit of information to share with you about the luminaries at Bone Farm. They will be lit at 5:30 on Christmas Day night. So Friday at 5:30 in the afternoon, the luminaries will be lit. And so again, if you're out riding around or looking something to do, hop in the car and ride to Bun Farms. At the top of the show, we're talking about Christmas memories and so forth. And one of my favorite memories, looking back now, my father was one of 10. His father was one of 10. So large families running our family. I stopped all that when my wife and I came along. We stopped at 3. Stopped at 2. I can't count the dog. He's like a child, but I'm not going to count him. So we stopped at 2. Hope we got a call. Let's get this call. Hello there. You on the air?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Got you.
All right. During the days when the Atlantic Coastline Railroad had passenger service, there was a track over there where they would shove passenger cars in, and there was a boiler over there where they could put steam heat on passenger cars in the wintertime as need be to add them to a consist of a train.
Okay.
And the Atlantic Coastline merged, and it became the Seaboard Airline Railroad in the summer of '67. And Amtrak didn't never come into existence until 1971. So by 1971, there was no passenger service train-wise, I don't think. With of course, the Atlantic Coastline had been gone since '67, but Amtrak was a passenger provider as of 1971. But I remember as a child, they used to keep passenger cars down there, and there would be steam coming out of them, and it would just be a passenger car sitting there staying heated if a coming through passenger train needed another passenger car to be added to the train.
I see. So how long did that third track, and where did it stop and end at? Do you remember?
I don't really remember. This would have been probably about the time or before the overpass was built.
Mm-hmm.
And this place where they would shove cars in now was over on the Edgecombe side.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of in front of where Dillon Supplies building is now.
Gotcha.
Kind of out there, right straight in front of the train station.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
All right.
Okay, buddy. Thank you. All right. Before the call, I was sharing a memory. My grandparents were tenant farmers and worked hard. Never, to my knowledge, never bought a new car. Never owned a home. And my grandmother, how she kept up with all of the grandkids that she had, I honestly don't know. But I have some very fond memories of going out there to their house on Christmas Day. And my grandmother always managed to find and buy a gift for every one of her grandkids. Now, I remember getting gifts like a pocket comb, tube of toothpaste, toothbrush. They were practical gifts, obviously. But the point was that she made a point of buying a gift on very meager earnings, I might add. My grandfather was a farmer. My grandmother was a housekeeper, but she also made a little, what used to be called bread and butter money by doing upholstery work. But she managed to scrape together enough money every year to buy all her grandkids something. And like I said, it may have been a toothbrush or a tube of toothpaste or a stick of deodorant or something, but she bought something for every one of us, and that was just a neat memory that I have of my grandparents as a child. Lee, let's jump back into pictures. I mentioned earlier about these, by the way, are all from this collection that I got from Wallace Abernathy, and so I want to publicly state how much I appreciate, number one, the contribution to pictures, and number two, I've said before, if any of you have any pictures you'd like to share on the show, if you'll give me a call either during the show or after the show, you can call me on my cell number, 883-1123. I'd be glad to set up a time and meet you somewhere, come by your home or your office and pick the pictures up. I'll make copies and get you the originals back. But anyway, let's go ahead and lead to the next set of pictures here, the next grouping. And this next one was actually captioned, it's an aerial shot obviously, and it was captioned as Rocky Mount 301-64 in 1957. So what you're looking at there is roughly where Terrytown Mall would eventually be built in a few short years. As you can see, there is nothing there out there on 301 at this point. It's obviously still in development, or I guess the planning stage, we should say. There's really not much development going on. But this was in the Rocky Mount Telegram, I'm guessing, and it's just neat to look at these old pictures and see how much has changed over the last 60 years or so. But anyway, this is an aerial photograph from 1957 showing the intersection of 301 Business and 64 Sunset Avenue. Okay, Lee, let's go to the next one then. And this one is from actually the 1920s. And this would have been the 304 to the 310 South Main, the block 304 to 310 South Main Street in the 1920s. So I'm not exactly sure exactly where on South Main Street this was. It was not identified as being East Main or West Main. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not exactly sure when that street changed name from being Railroad Street to Main Street, but I do recall seeing references to what we now call Main Street as being Railroad Street, some of the old early maps around Rocky Mount, and the surrounding area, I should say. So I'm not sure where this particular building was. Maybe someone else can recognize it and share with us where this building was or may still be standing. I'm not sure. I don't recall seeing a Gorham's Quick Lunch. Look at a combination grocery store, cafe, drugstore, all in one there. But in any case, this was dated from the 1920s, and the address would have been 304 to 310 South Main Street. Okay. All right, Lee, let's go to the next one then. This next picture here, there you go. This is Coastal Texaco in the early 1950s. 400 South Church Street would have been the address. And I believe this was John James' place. If I'm not mistaken, I think John James ran Coastal. No, he ran Coastal Record Service. I'm sorry. He may have had a Texaco station too, come to think of it. But in any case, this picture was captioned as being the 400 block of South Church Street, Coastal Texaco, early 1950s. And you can see Uncle Sam over there to the left, right near the front of the car. All right, Lee, let's go then to the next picture. And this is actually from a year later, 1952, roughly the same area, 400 to 500 South Church Street, looking south. And you see on the right-hand side in the distance down there is the Coca-Cola bottling plant. And boy, has this changed over the years. South Church doesn't look anything like this today. And it's just hard to fathom this being the same Church Street that we see today down there, but anyway, it is. All right, Lee, let's go to the next one then. We're about to run out of time here. This next one is actually dated 1914, and this is Sunset Avenue looking west from the railroad track. So you see there on the left-hand side would be the Planters Bank building, and let's say you're looking west on Sunset Avenue from 1914, and I'm thinking this is still dirt roads downtown Rocky Mount. No pavement yet in 1914, I don't think. So anyway, I don't think we're going to get a chance to get them all. Let's get a couple more real quick in before we call it a night. This next one, here you go, this is from 1939, and this is from the Gallopade Parade. If you remember, if you watch the show regularly here a few months back, we did a series of pictures from the Gallopade Parade from 1939, and this was a big deal, obviously. Folks came out and bunches to stand on the street corner. They hung out of the second floor of business windows and watch a parade. This is obviously on the west side of Main Street. You see Planters Bank there, just to the right of the picture. And again, this was from the 1939 Gallopade Parade in downtown Rocky Mount. Let's do one more, Lee, and we'll call it a night. This last picture is from 1955, and this is East Main Street at Tarboro Street. You can see there's People's Bank there on your right, Epstein's across the street to the left. We've got time for one call. Let's get this last call. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
All right, very quickly, those people hanging out those windows and whatever was before the days of air conditioning.
There you go.
Stores like Rose and Bloom Levy, my aunt worked in there, and they would have to keep all the women's clothes up there in glass cases because the soot from the steam locomotives would damage the clothes with the windows being wide open before the days of air conditioning coming out of the coal-burning locomotives.
Wow, how about that? All right, buddy. Thanks for sharing. Have a good night. Okay, Lee, bring it back to me. Folks, that's going to do it for us tonight. We've run slam out of time. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us tonight. As always, I appreciate your viewership. I thank you for your calls and your loyalty to the show. It's always my pleasure to be here each Wednesday night. Right now, as far as I know, we will be here next week too. That may change, but my plan is to be here with another live show next week. So until then, have yourselves a great week. Merry Christmas to you all, by the way. Take care of yourselves and be kind to each other, folks. We'll see you next week with more Wayback Wednesday. Good night.
You're now watching Wayback Wednesday, sponsored by Flora's Glass and Mirror Company, servicing the area since 1977 with residential and commercial work.